It is officially August. That means it's fantasy season. And let's talk some breakout players for this season. And these are not just your regular breakouts, your obvious names like Kenneth Walker or anybody in the early rounds. You may argue some of these names are a little obvious, but I will jump right into it for you, and you can be the judge in the comments. But Emeka Egbuka is in for an incredible season. You can get him around the 3-4 round range, and I don't know if anybody is questioning his talent. I feel like everyone's just questioning how the Bucks offense is going to be. Baker didn't he's just declined a contract. He's focused on football. You really irritated him, so he's ready to have a resurgence and probably get paid a huge contract. But Egbuka, when he was healthy last year, through the first 10 weeks of the season without Mike Evans, he averaged 16 fantasy points a game. Mind you, the back half of the season he was pretty banged up, and again, Mike Evans took away a lot of his production. Now he could see 6-8 targets a game, and some people don't even think he's going to go over 1,000 yards. I think he's a very good, safe wide receiver one for you to target in fantasy this year. And you also have to just look at, how he could be a top receiver in the league this year. If anybody's going to be a dark horse, it's Emeka Egbuka. Over the middle, we saw how dominant of a rookie he was last season. And Zach Robinson in a new offense for the Bucks. He's primarily as a Z wide receiver, but he's also moving them all over the formation just to see what you can get from a guy of his caliber. Okay, clear-cut number one wide receiver. I understand it's a pretty obvious name. How about this one? Skattebo. Running backs with the easiest schedule. Skattebo has the 8th. Now, if we do look at his injury, a lot of people are concerned, is he going to be the same guy? But who is going to get carries outside of this offense other than Skattebo? It's probably going to be Tyrone Tracy. Skattebo is the clear-cut number one running back, and I feel like anybody is scared to draft him. It's because of the injuries. Yes, he's probably going to run through a brick wall, but if this guy stays healthy, he's the clear-cut running back one. Tyrone Tracy is not going to do enough to take over this backfield. Yes, Dart is a little bit of a runner. That does concern me a little bit, but I feel like Skattebo, with not only the touchdowns on the goal line, he'll probably have 6 to 8 of them, but I feel like I'm more happy to see the upside with, yes, the fact that, Derrick Henry was in the Ravens offense, but more of the fact that he will be involved in the receiving game. He's a running back that can do it all. And yes, this is one thing I want to look at. Skattebo and Tyrone Tracy. I understand it was a new offense this year compared to last year, Harbaugh compared to Brian Dable, but I feel like it's going to be very similar to, he's going to have at least 70% of routes and targets. Yes, he's not going to play all the snaps, but he's going to be your main running back, and that's what I love from him this year. Other things to note, he was back at camp. He is 100%, and he looks good to go. All right, moving on. I want to keep this pretty quick. That way we don't go over them because we have 6. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, I have 7 names. We're going to keep it simple, though. Cam Skattebo, please target him. Marvin Harrison Jr. Yes, it's an interesting name. I feel like if you got to go big, you got to go home. I was thinking maybe put Parker Washington on this list, but I really do think everyone's taking the drop issue a little bit too far. The only problem I have with Marv is this is a tough schedule, and it is a little bit of a crowded receiving room between Marvin Harrison, Michael Wilson, Trey McBride, and then Love out of the backfield. But with the Mike LaFleur offense, I feel like Marv should have a heavily favored target. And, for somebody who's going in like the 6th round, I don't hate his value for somebody who's going to have maybe his first potential 1,000-yard season. So for Marv, it's definitely something I do like. Yes, we did. I mentioned the drops in preseason and whatnot, but I don't think it's as big as a concern. You see the jokes, 5 drops in training camp, more than sure. For Marv, it's mostly the mental game. If he can, ground that out, we know the talent that he does possess. How about a new name? Isaiah Likely on a new team. I really like this a lot. He is kind of the go-to guy. I know Malik Neighbors is probably going to play a little bit of a more of a role in terms of coming back more sooner than we expected, at least I thought. But I still think Likely is the number 2 in this offense. And again, first year in a new kind of prove-it role, he gets that opportunity, and he is no longer has Mark Andrews by his side. Likely can easily be a top 3 tight end this year, and I kind of value him as I did Tyler Warren last year. He's the clear number 1 option. I don't know why Bryce said number 2, but Harbaugh spoke very highly of him. He's coming over from the Ravens. We all know what he can do. 15 touchdowns. I don't know what the kind of season he's going to have, but he's definitely going to have a solid season. All right, next up, Kyler Murray. I love Kyler this year because of Justin Jefferson. And both of them, if you compare both of them together, I think that's insane. Someone please talk me out why Jefferson should be lower than wide receiver 7. I think he should be higher. Personally, I have him as the wide receiver 3 on my board. But Kyler Murray is going to be in for a huge breakout season. If we look at this offense, it's technically a quarterback competition, but look at training camp. The reports out of Vikings camp is JJ is the safe, let's throw it over the middle. Kyler is the big risk taker. Who do you want? Do you want somebody to mediate the offense and not know how to read a defense, or do you want Kyler Murray, who may not be the best at reading defenses, but he's still going to let the ball fly? He's got a lot more talent than JJ McCarthy. And I think, honestly, they're only saying this is a quarterback competition because they don't want JJ to, lose his confidence or potentially be a bust. So you're just going to drown it out as long as possible in terms of, hey, we messed up on drafting this kid. Anyway, Kyler Murray, dominant training camp, 5 of 7, 2 touchdowns, 16 of 20 with 5 touchdowns on the day, and 2 to Jefferson, touchdowns-wise. Nobody should be scared to draft Justin Jefferson, and I don't think anybody should be scared to draft Kyler Murray as a backup quarterback with rushing upside. Love Kyler this year. Boom. Jonathon Brooks, another name I love. This does remind me of the Javonte Williams, to where he is kind of the clear-cut number 1. Yes, Chuba Hubbard is the obvious one for now, but he lost his job last year to Rico Dowdle. Why wouldn't he lose his job to a younger Jonathon Brooks, where head coach Dave Canales is talking very, very highly of him? Excuse me. But Brooks is in for a huge season. I really do like him to be the Javonte last year. This is an interesting one, but I do love it. Other things to note, I don't know why the ACL bothers a lot of people, but yes, he tore his ACL, about a year and 7 months back. It's very rare for a player to tear your ACL twice. It's more likely than not that, the doctor did something wrong the first time. But I think it's fine, right? He's going to come back stronger than ever, and he's definitely got a chance to take this job over. All right. Yeah, Dave Canales also talked very highly of him. He's got finishing speed, so he's a part of the game that I think they want to get him involved. At most, this will be a committee. And you can have upside with Brooks on certain weeks off a bye, but you could also potentially have a running back 1 if you did draft Javonte Williams from last year. You know what I'm saying. Matthew Golden's the other potential breakout. As much as I wanted to put Parker Washington on here, I didn't. And I kind of regret it because there's a lot of other names. Maybe Blake Corum, Rachaad White, other than Jonathon Brooks. But, in terms of running backs, there's so many names you can go off of. But Matthew Gold, who else is going to catch the ball other than Tucker Kraft? Who is going to catch the ball? Romeo Doubs is gone. Okay. Christian Watson, he's good, but Matthew Golden has to get involved at some point. He did in the postseason. He had a monster game. I feel like this could be his season where he does have a good year. I'm not too sure, but again, he was training with Tank Dell. You were a rookie last year. You would think you could have some potential. If this ends up to be a Keon Coleman 2.0, I'm going to be very frustrated that I wasted a draft pick on him. You also have other upside players like Quentin Johnston and Josh Downs around the same area, maybe even a Wan'Dale Robinson. But these are 6 to 7 potential players. Don't even say it. These are 6-7 potential players that will, I think, have the opportunity to break out. I'm kind of interested because I feel like any list, people are going to move some things around. Love Parker Washington this year. Just a little bit of a smaller show. 7 names you guys got to target for breakouts. Emeka Egbuka, Cam Skattebo, Isaiah Likely, Kyler Murray, Jonathon Brooks, Marv and Golden. I'm a little wishy-washy on because you got to pay a little bit more for Marv, and then Golden could be a Keon Coleman. But those are names I like. Other names that I kind of just left out as honorable mentions. Rachaad White can easily take that backfield from Bill Krosky-Merritt. Like I said, Blake Corum. I think I mentioned Blake Corum. He's going to eat into that offense a little bit. Parker Washington, I said as well. And yeah, I think that's really the amount of kind of late round sleepers, at least, that you could target. Maybe Roma Dunze. We did a couple other videos if you want to check them out fantasy wise. But yeah, we're going to keep doing this all week. It's August. It's fantasy season. So thank you everyone for hanging out with some breakouts for this season. Check out some more videos as we continue the season. And thank you everyone so much for hanging out. It's the Big Z Breakdown. Mike Z. We'll see ya. Oh, man.